Brother Nashi, how are you? Please help me so that I can share this message to men of South Africa. Please post this story as quickly as possible so that they can know if there is anyone who is thinking about doing money rituals. They can go ahead with their plan, because I know I used to be in that situation. Once a man has set his eyes on making money, doing money rituals, and worshiping the devil, there is nothing much that you can do or you can say to that man, unless if he tries and he sees that it is not working at all. So help me to speak to the men of South Africa who think that it is easy to do money rituals, who think that the grass is greener on the other side of the border. My name, you'll call me David. It was in 2011. I was only 35 years old. I had a good job. I was working as a logistic manager at a big company in Gauteng. I had a beautiful wife and we had 2 young children. But even though our life was okay, but okay was not enough for me. What happened when me and my wife started staying together before we got married? My wife was dating my best friend and I started to use my money so that I can steal the woman from my best friend. So the relationship, it was like that. Whenever things were bad, then she will start to complain because she had never known how it was like to suffer. So if you are looking forward to start a family as a young man, you need to keep that in mind. If you are using money to attract women, once that money is gone, it is going to be big problems for you. So the foundation of the marriage, it started to get so bad whenever we would struggle, because I used to give her a lot of money. And now that we had a family, most of the money was going towards the upkeep of the house and for her to eat, to wear nice clothes. But still, she would demand even more and more. And when I would try to be good towards her, she will say that it was not enough. So I then said, in order for me to save this marriage, I was supposed to do something that was extraordinary. I did not want to pay a bond for the house for the next 20 plus years. I wanted to buy a house, even a mansion, for cash. I did not want to drive around in a poor man's car. I wanted to drive a big SUV like the ones that I would see other people driving. And then I had a colleague of mine who was Mozambican, who told me about a man who could assist me in Mozambique from the village where he came from. He stayed near the Chibuto area. That was where he was staying. He said that this man, he was someone that could help me and would cleanse me so that I can have good luck. I never even sat down to think about it and say that this Mozambican guy, he came to South Africa, he is working in the warehouse. If he knows this man that is very powerful in Mozambique, why is it that he just don't go there and you will do the cleansing ritual and he will be able to make a lot of money instead of suffering in South Africa? And this man, he just told me that we can go together when it will be time for him to go on his leave. I waited, and when he was on leave, I also told them that I wanted some off days so that I can go to my village in KZN, but I was lying. I wanted to go to Mozambique. I was blinded by my greed. And as for my wife, I told my wife that I was going to Nelspruit. There were people there that I wanted to do some business deals with in Nelspruit. So since my wife, she was someone that also wanted us to have a good life, whenever I would talk about business, my wife would support me. Like that time she supported me and she said it is okay. So me and my friend, we drove because I had a car. We drove and we went into Mozambique with my car. And I had 40,000 that I had saved, and I had done some mess up at work because Me and the boys, we were even stealing some other stuff from work because I knew that I wanted a lot of money to be able to make more money, just like what this guy had told me. And some of it I had even borrowed from some family members, and some of it I had taken from the savings without telling my wife. I thought that I would come back and replace it 10 times over. I did not know that I was walking into a trap that was going to swallow more than 10 years of my life. I did not know that this Sangomam, he was not just a healer, but they were dealing in ritual murders. We reached the village. I remember it was at sunset. It was so beautiful, but there was no time for me to be a tourist. All that I wanted was quick money and return back to my country. We finally arrived at the healer's compound. That was where my workmate, he dropped me and then he went to his house. I accompanied him and then I came back. It was about a distance of 45 minutes or so. So I came back. The compound, it was away from the main road. It was close to this other mountain. And then I stayed with that traditional healer. This healer, he only spoke in Portuguese, and he had other people that were younger who acted as our translators. There were other people that had come to thank him for helping them to become rich. So I was very excited to see that there are people that I have drove from countries like Zim and Zambia coming to thank that traditional healer. I even thanked my friend and said that I now trust that you want me to become rich. But along the way, I had even asked him why he did not want to do the rituals, and he said that he did not have the money because the money that was needed, it was quite a lot. And since I was desperate, I just wanted to get it over with so that I can become rich. Brother Nashi, I stayed at that traditional healer's shrine for nearly a week because there were a lot of people that were staying there. So I started to notice that at night I would hear screams, women and children, and this would happen at night. I did not know that those people that I would hear screaming, they were victims of ritual murders. They would be kidnapped from other villages that were far off, and they would be brought to the compound and they would be killed. Their body parts would be removed. And one night, when I thought that I was going to be cleansed the next day, that was when I heard people that were shouting outside. It was the police. These were not like your local police that are polite that we sometimes see here in South Africa. These men, they were like soldiers, even though they were police, heavy guns. They screamed in Portuguese, a language that I could not understand. I panicked and I tried to run. They started firing shots everywhere and I fell down. All that I did was to lie down and to cover my head. So they took my car and I was arrested. That healer, he tried to escape, but they caught him. They dragged everyone who was at that compound and we were taken to the police station. But before, when they took us to the center of the yard, that was when I saw it. In that room where I used to hear people screaming at night and then they would go quiet. Underneath there was a shalom pit, and that was where they would throw in human remains and they would take the body parts. I then realized that this lucky oil that you get sometimes from Mozambique, it is made from the body parts of the people that would have been murdered, those that would have gone missing. When I realized that this was what was happening, I started screaming in isiZulu and English, and I said, I don't know anything. I'm just a visitor. I'm from South Africa. But they did not even came. They just saw me as someone that had came to buy those body parts. So they tied my hands and they drove us to the police station. It was like an army base, the place where they took us. That moment, that was when I realized that I had messed up. If you want to go and do money rituals in Mozambique, if you say that you are stubborn, you're not going to listen to my advice. If you still want to go to Mozambique, this is what I advise you. Never ever make the mistake of getting arrested in Mozambique, because once you get arrested in Mozambique, for you to come out, it is going to take you a very long time. Unlike South Africa, where everything is being done on the computer online, in Mozambique, they write everything down. It is manual. And the day that your docket is written, then you will see that you are going to be sorry. You will stay in prison for the rest of your life. My nightmare, it began when we arrived at the police station. Everything was in Portuguese. Every document, I was just signing things that I could not even understand. And the police, they were very harsh towards me. I was told to sign. Every question I was asked, I could not even understand a word. You can imagine someone that has never been to South Africa in his life, does not even know any word of isiZulu, and then he is arrested and they make him to sign things that are written in isiZulu. I could not understand what exactly was happening. I kept on asking for a lawyer, even for the South African embassy, for a phone call to my wife, because I had watched a lot of TV shows and I used to hear people saying that, give me my right so that I can have one phone call. I did not know that it does not work when you are in Mozambique. So those officers, they would laugh at me. They would just look at me, saying that they did not even understand what the hell I was talking about. There was no interpreter for me. They just saw someone that had come to buy human body parts. So they treated me with pure hatred. To top it off, there was one child who was around 5 months that was found with the body parts ripped off from her body, and she was an albino. So the way that they treated us, it was so bad. I spent the first months in a holding cell with maybe 50 other men. The floor, it was always wet. Whenever it would rain, the rain would come into that cell and you would mop all night long. There was no bed. The food, it was just beans. Sometimes you would eat pap and beans once a day. And if you do not eat in time, they would give you pap that is very hot. Unlike what we give our prisoners here in South Africa, they will just cook pap and it will be hot. They will give you the pap and they will give you maybe 2 minutes to eat. So the first few days, I started to lose a lot of weight and I was losing my mind because I was unable to eat this pap and beans that was cooked, no salt, nothing. I was losing my mind, but then I saw that I was going to starve to death. You would eat the pap whilst it was steaming hot, and the way that they would cook it, they would cook steam pap that will make you to be more hungry than ever before. I started praying when I was in prison and I said, God, please just help me. And that money that I had taken to Mozambique, it's obvious that it was taken maybe by the police. I really do not know what happened. And I did not even have a way to pay for a private lawyer. The state appointed lawyer, he only spoke 2 words of English. That is how bad I was in Mozambique. This man, he only said very bad, very bad. He did not even look at my files. He just told me to wait. I would wait for months, then a year, 2 years. In Mozambique, everything is slow because they are not using computers. They're just writing everything on paper. And in order for your case to move, you have to bribe someone. Even if you are a criminal that is in prison, you have to bribe so that you can go to court. I did not even know what to do. My family back home, they did not have any idea where I was. I had vanished to Mozambique without telling people. Eventually, I was transferred to a major prison to serve there. I was detained there. I spent 7 years before I even saw a judge for final sentencing. I learned to speak a bit of Portuguese just for survival. I had to learn so that I can communicate. And I saw men there in Mozambique. There is malaria there as well as TB, and it was so painful. Brother Nashi, I managed to survive, and finally I was able to get out of prison. As for the car, I did not even go back to that village to investigate because I had already forgotten how to go to that village from the jail where I spent my last years. So they deported me into South Africa, and they just dropped me once I was at the South African border, and I had to find my way back to Joburg. When I returned back home, I knew that my wife was not going to be waiting for me, and as for the house, it had been repossessed. I lost everything, Brother Nashim. My kids right now, they are being raised by another man because my wife, she got married again. So I just want other people to think about this. Yes, it is nice when you think about going to Mozambique to do money rituals, but have you ever sit down and think about the ways that things can go wrong once you are in Mozambique? It is not your country there. And when you are arrested, I'm telling you, even if you get arrested for a small thing, they are not going to care more about do you have papers or not. But if you get arrested, that is the worst thing that you would want to happen to you once you are in Mozambique. You would wish that you had never gone to Mozambique. So I just want people to know that these things, they are happening there. I am not the only one who went to do money rituals and bad things happened to you. Some of them, they go there, then the same Sangoma robs you of your money, and they just leave you even in the bushes. They will steal your car, they will steal your money, and you return back to South Africa in regret. You can even end up committing suicide. To this very day, sometimes I feel like ending my life because of the way that I messed up so bad. It was like I was in a bad movie. Dear listeners, right, there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Let us talk with our dear brother in the comment section.